Welcome to American Pulse and Paranormal, your go-to place for the spookiest stories around. Get comfortable, put on your headphones for the ultimate experience, and let's dive into these terrifying tales. Scary stories to fall asleep to. Let's read before bed. Story 1. The Haunted Train. On a cold winter night, 5 friends gathered at an old, abandoned train station. The place exuded an eerie and ominous feeling, even before they stepped inside the train. The train seemed to have been out of operation for years, covered in a thick layer of dust and mold. The friends decided to explore the station and the abandoned train, sensing an exciting adventure awaited them. As they prepared to board, they noticed the doors were unnaturally open, as if the train was expecting them. They entered the first carriage, finding the seats tattered and covered with old cloth. The train started moving slowly, producing a metallic screeching sound that sent shivers down their spines. Initially, everything seemed normal. They walked between the carriages, taking photos and discussing the scary stories they had heard about this place. But soon, strange events began to unfold. They heard invisible footsteps coming from nowhere and unintelligible murmurs filling the air. The lights inside the train flickered oddly, as if an unseen force was tampering with them. In one of the carriages, they found muddy footprints, as if someone had recently walked there. They felt they were not alone in the train, and that an unseen force was watching them. Things grew more frightening when the doors started closing and opening on their own, and the train's speed increased unnaturally. They tried to escape the train, but the doors and windows were tightly shut, as if the train refused to let them go. In a pivotal moment, a ghost of a man wearing old clothes appeared before them, his face marked with sorrow and despair. They attempted to speak to him, but he kept repeating the same mournful words, "I have been trapped here." The friends realized they had fallen into a trap and were now trapped with the restless spirits that had found no peace. As time passed, things became clearer. They discovered that the train was haunted by the spirits of passengers who had perished in a tragic accident years ago. The spirits sought revenge and peace, trying to communicate with the friends to reveal the truth about what had happened. They started investigating the details of the old accident and found that the train had been carrying a group of workers returning home after a long day of work. There had been a verbal altercation between the passengers and a crew member, leading to a catastrophic accident that claimed everyone's lives. The truth was concealed, and the victims were buried without justice. The friends realized that the only way out was to help the spirits find peace and uncover the horrific truth. They began attempts to communicate with the spirits, using their knowledge of spiritual energy and traditional methods to offer apologies and honor the victims. On a night filled with anticipation and fear, they held a ceremony to honor the spirits inside the train. During the ceremony, the spirits began to appear one by one, speaking in an incomprehensible language. The atmosphere was charged with negative energy and terror, but the friends did not back down. Gradually, the spirits began to calm down and started to disappear one by one. After the ceremony ended, the train came to a halt and the doors and windows opened. The friends exited the train, feeling a sense of relief and inner peace. The station was dark and quiet, with no sign of the train or the horrifying events they had witnessed. They left the station feeling that they had learned a valuable lesson about the importance of revealing the truth and delivering justice to the victims. They vowed never to return to that place, but the experience had left a lasting impact on their lives. Over time, they began to recall that night as a chilling tale they shared with friends and family. The experience had deeply affected them, making them appreciate life and the people they loved even more. They understood that spirits, like humans, need justice and peace to find rest. They decided to create an online group to share their stories and experiences with others who had gone through similar situations. This group became a haven for those seeking understanding of the mysterious events they had encountered. They provided support and advice to one another, sharing scary stories together while always keeping truth and rationality at the forefront. In the end, they managed to turn their terrifying experience into something positive, They grew stronger and wiser, knowing that the spirits they had helped had finally found peace. Their story remained alive, passed down through generations as a warning to respect the dead and the truth. Story 2. The Haunted Forest. Four friends, Mark, Sarah, John, and Emily, were planning a weekend camping trip in a remote forest known to be haunted. Everyone was excited about the adventure and drove to their destination. Upon arrival, the forest was quiet and filled with the sounds of nature, making them feel at ease despite the scary stories they had heard. They set up their tents by a small lake and lit a fire to keep warm and prepare dinner. As they sat around the fire, sharing stories and chatting, they began hearing strange noises coming from deep within the forest. The sounds ranged from unintelligible whispers to approaching and receding footsteps. Initially, they thought it was wild animals, but the sounds persisted, becoming unnaturally eerie. As time passed, things took a more terrifying turn. They saw shadows moving among the trees and ghosts appearing and disappearing in the darkness. They tried to ignore what they were seeing and hearing, but things got worse when John mysteriously disappeared. They searched everywhere for him, but there was no trace. Fear and panic began to rise among the friends, realizing that something unnatural was happening. While trying to understand what was going on, they started having terrifying visions of former forest inhabitants who had been killed in a tragic accident years ago. The spirits showed them scenes from the past, trying to communicate and reveal what had happened. They discovered that the spirits sought revenge on anyone who dared enter the forest. In a moment of despair, they decided to leave, but it wasn't that simple. The spirits began to chase and block them. They tried to escape, but they were surrounded from all sides. They realized the only way out was to find what the spirits were looking for and offer them peace. After many failed attempts and terrifying events, they found the remains of the tragic accident and held a ceremony to honor the spirits. As soon as the ceremony ended, the sounds quieted and the shadows vanished. They finally managed to leave the forest safely, but vowed never to return. When they returned home, they were burdened with the terrifying memories and the experience that had changed their lives. They learned a valuable lesson about respecting mysterious places and the scary stories told about them. They decided to share their experience with others, warning them of the dangers of venturing into haunted places. It didn't end there, as they occasionally felt something following them in the dark, and the spirits hadn't found complete peace. They always wondered if they had left something unresolved or misunderstood. The forest remained a forbidden place, and no one dared visit it after hearing the stories the friends told. The experience had become part of their memories, and they vowed never to forget the terror they had faced in that haunted forest. They decided to continue their quest for truth and scientific explanation of what they had encountered. They collaborated with researchers and experts in the field of spiritual energies and psychological sciences to try to understand what had happened. There were multiple hypotheses, some suggesting the influence of accumulated negative energy, while others considered the possibility of a collective psychological phenomenon triggered by the intense fear they experienced. Regardless of the scientific explanations, the friends knew what they had felt and seen in that forest. Their encounters with the spirits had been too vivid and real to dismiss as mere hallucinations. The experience had left an indelible mark on their lives, reminding them of the thin veil that separates the natural from the supernatural. In their search for answers, they discovered other tales of haunted forests across the world. Each story had its unique blend of fear and mystery, yet all shared a common thread: the need for respect and caution when dealing with the unknown. The friends felt a deep sense of connection with these stories, knowing they were not alone in their experiences. They decided to compile these stories into a book, combining their personal ordeal with accounts from others who had encountered the supernatural. The book aimed to raise awareness about the potential dangers of exploring haunted places and the importance of approaching such ventures with an open mind and a respectful attitude. The release of their book garnered significant attention, both from skeptics and believers. It sparked discussions and debates about the nature of the supernatural and the credibility of ghostly encounters. Despite differing opinions, the book succeeded in highlighting the need for empathy and understanding towards those who had faced the inexplicable. Through their journey, the friends found solace in the knowledge that they had helped bring peace to the restless spirits of the forest. They had turned their terrifying experience into a mission to educate and protect others, ensuring that their story served as a lasting reminder of the power and mystery that still lingered in the world. Story 3. The Cursed Painting. Mary was passionate about collecting old antiques and paintings. One day, she found an old, worn-out painting at an antique market. The painting depicted a mysterious man in old clothes with a haunting look in his eyes. Mary felt there was something special about the painting and decided to buy it and add it to her collection. As soon as she hung the painting in her living room, strange things started happening. Mary constantly felt like someone was watching her. At night, strange noises began to appear, and she started seeing shadows moving in the corners of the room. The painting seemed to pulse with life, and the man in the picture appeared to be staring directly at her. Things escalated when Mary started seeing terrifying faces in the dark, reflected in the mirrors of her home. She tried to get rid of the painting, but it always found its way back to its place. Mary felt increasingly scared and powerless, realizing that the painting was cursed. Mary researched the history of the painting and discovered that it had once belonged to a man suspected of being a sorcerer. The man had been murdered under mysterious circumstances and had cursed the painting before his death to trap his soul and seek revenge on anyone who possessed it. Everyone who had owned the painting before had suffered nightmares and strange events ending in their death. Feeling intense fear, Mary decided to confront the curse and find a way to free the trapped soul in the painting. She sought out a spiritual expert who told her the only way to end the curse was to perform a special ceremony and apologize to the man's spirit. On a dark night, Mary performed the ceremony with the expert's help. During the ceremony, the man's spirit appeared in a terrifying form and began speaking in an incomprehensible language. The atmosphere was charged with negative energy, and the wind howled around them, as if the spirit was displeased with their efforts. Slowly, Mary began communicating with the spirit, asking for forgiveness for the injustice it had suffered. As the ceremony progressed, the terrifying sounds began to subside, and the manifestations of the spirit became less aggressive. Mary realized the spirit was in pain and anger, seeking acknowledgement and an apology. Finally, after many attempts, Mary managed to communicate with the spirit, explaining that she wanted to free it and end its curse. Gradually, the spirit calmed down, the shadows faded, and the painting lost its frightening power. The ceremony continued until dawn, and when it ended, the painting disappeared completely from Mary's home, as if it had never been there. The household's disturbing phenomena came to an abrupt halt, leaving Mary in a state of cautious relief. With normalcy returning to her home, Mary couldn't shake off the experience. It had profoundly impacted her perspective on the mystical and the unknown. Determined to prevent others from enduring similar ordeals, she began documenting her story online. Her blog quickly gained traction, attracting readers who shared their encounters with haunted antiques. Mary's detailed accounts and practical advice on handling old artifacts struck a chord with many. Her bravery in confronting the curse turned her into a respected figure in the antique collecting community. Invitations to speak at conferences and workshops poured in, where she shared her knowledge and cautioned collectors about the potential dangers of cursed items. Embracing this new role, Mary traveled extensively, educating others about the importance of researching the history of collectibles. Her efforts not only helped people avoid supernatural pitfalls, but also brought comfort to those who had suffered similar experiences. Mary's story inspired a shift in how antique enthusiasts approached their hobby. They became more vigilant, ensuring they understood the origins and pasts of their acquisitions. Her advocacy for mindful collecting practices made a lasting impact on the community. Ultimately, Mary turned her terrifying ordeal into a mission of education and caution. Her narrative served as a beacon, reminding collectors that while the allure of the past is captivating, it also demands respect and careful consideration. Through her journey, Mary found purpose and fulfillment, transforming a cursed encounter into a legacy of awareness and safety. Story 4. The Haunted House in the Village. Sam and Lisa, a couple with a penchant for adventure, decided to spend a weekend in a remote, abandoned house located in a secluded village. The house was infamous for its eerie past and rumors of being haunted. They arrived on a moonless night, eager to explore the mysterious abode. At first, everything seemed ordinary. However, it didn't take long for strange occurrences to begin. The lights flickered, doors creaked open and shut by themselves, and unsettling sounds filled the air. Despite the initial fright, Sam and Lisa decided to stay and unravel the mystery. The following morning, Lisa delved into the house's history and discovered it had belonged to an old family who had suffered a tragic fate. All members were killed under mysterious circumstances, leaving their restless spirits trapped in the house. As they continued their investigation, ghostly apparitions became more frequent. The spirits communicated in an unintelligible language, seeking vengeance on anyone who entered their domain. Sam and Lisa realized that the spirits were driven by a deep-seated anger over an ancient wrong. Through painstaking research, they uncovered a dark secret. A grave mistake committed by a family member had provoked the wrath of a malevolent spirit that had inhabited the house for centuries. Understanding the depth of the spirit's anguish, Sam and Lisa decided to offer an apology and perform a ceremony to honor them. On the final night, they held a solemn ritual, expressing their remorse and seeking to restore peace. As the ceremony progressed, the spirits began to appear one by one, their forms less menacing. Slowly, the house's ominous atmosphere started to lift. When the ceremony concluded, the spirits gradually faded away, leaving the house in a state of tranquility. Sam and Lisa left the village with a newfound appreciation for the importance of respecting history and the stories tied to old places. Returning to their routine lives, the couple couldn't shake off the profound impact of their experience. They felt compelled to share their story with a wider audience, hoping to shed light on similar haunted locations. They decided to write a book, compiling tales of other haunted houses and the lessons they had learned. Their book, detailing their journey and the history of haunted places, resonated with readers around the world. It became a bestseller, praised for its blend of chilling narratives and insightful reflections. Through their work, Sam and Lisa aim to raise awareness about the potential dangers of exploring such places without adequate respect and preparation. Their story became a part of their legacy, reminding future generations of the need to honor the past and approach the unknown with caution. Sam and Lisa's experience in the haunted house transformed them from thrill seekers into advocates for historical preservation and mindfulness, ensuring that their chilling adventure served as a warning to all who dared to venture into the realms of the supernatural. Thank you for joining us at American Pulse and Paranormal. If you enjoyed these spine-chilling tales, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Stay tuned for our next episode of thrilling and eerie stories. Until then, keep your senses sharp and your curiosity alive.